String still stretching out on this one. So this is another in the series, the charity shop guitars, and this is the kind of thing that you get in there, although most times it won't play as well as this, because this I've given a setup and it will go back to the shop. Well, somebody no doubt will buy it. This is an old K. There are people that still collect these, real rosewood fingerboard, spruce ply, some damage to the rosette here. Looks like beech or mahogany back, and a better guitar than the one that I had before. It was the Essential or something like that. Slightly better woods, better sound, better fretboard quality wood, although it's still got brass, old clunky brass frets on it. It does say on the back, steel reinforced neck, made in Korea. But the neck was bowed up quite a bit, possibly because somebody had steel strings on this at some point. But I've managed to shave the saddle down to where it works. It plays just nicely. And it's actually a decent playing guitar if you can deal with the damage there on the rosette, which is just a sticker anyway. You can buy another one and put it on if you want. I'm not going to bother with this vintage of guitar, but I imagine this is probably made in the 50s or 60s. It's quite old, it's had quite a life. It does have glue runoff from the bottom braces, which look to have been re-glued. Cross braces on the top, which is, no, it's got a cross brace here and then the fan bracing towards the end. The bridge hasn't come up and it doesn't look like it's been re-glued, so that's good. It looks like maybe the neck was glued back in, the mortise at some point, but otherwise it's a decent playing guitar and probably a better playing guitar than the last one I showed you. It's certainly set up better anyway with some new strings, but I still run into people that collect these old Ks. I've had a number over the years. I stopped buying them recently, over the last probably 10 years or so, just because they almost always need neck resets. A lot of the old Ks and Airlines and Montgomery Wards and Sears guitars, they weren't built with truss rods or steel reinforced necks, and they're almost always, all of them need neck resets, which is just not worth it for that ilk of guitar. So I stopped buying them. I did a lot of learning on them back in the day. I used to go to flea markets and thrift shops and buy all the old Ks I could find for project guitars. This one came to me via a charity, and the money will go to them, but I've set it up for them, and I will have a number of these guitars on the channel coming up, because it gives us a chance to look at some types of guitars that pop up on eBay, Reverb, that maybe you've never seen an example of, and you're wondering at the quality or the fix-up ability, if that can be a word, of that particular instrument. We all know K, so this is an example of something that we've seen and possibly had over the years, although the longer it goes, the more distressed these instruments are when you pick them up. And some of them aren't even, you're not even able to remedy them without substantial costs. So you have to be very choosy with these kinds of guitars for projects these days. But this is an old classical that went back together pretty simply and set up pretty well. The action's just right for a classical guitar. If the neck comes up anymore, it'll get high again, but right now it's a good playing instrument. It'd be great for a kid to learn on, or even an adult beginner as well. I think it's better quality than the one that we saw in a previous video. So there we go, a good old K guitar. First K I ever played was an old K double bass. So K's put out a lot of instruments over the years, a lot of types of instruments, acoustics, stuff in the violin world as well. I think they did mandolins and folk instruments as well. So you'll run into them here and there. I'm sure you've all got stories about an old K that you've found knocking around and set up. So let me have them. All right, folks. See you on the next one.